Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Ghost Stories episode. Tonight's ghost story is called The Prankster. First, I swear to you, every word I ever tell you will be true. I will not lie or stretch the truth about this home we loved so much. A little background on the house itself, as it will be useful in at least one of the stories I tell later on. We purchased our home. It was a 153-year-old antique home without a clue to its true history. The documents provided to us showed that it was built around the 1950s. That estimate was off by approximately 80 years. After much research in 3 different counties, I found our home was actually built in the 1870s. The house itself was made from a cypress tree, which were felled on the property and milled on site. Shortly after closing, we had to make some repairs to the front wall of the home. The beams, cross beams, diagonal braces were all massive. They had mortises and tenon joints that were held in place with wooden spikes called tree nails. We had no idea what we had purchased until we opened that wall. None. We thought we purchased just an old house, not an antique house. Because the house we saw on the outside was simply a 1950s era cottage-style home, which had been badly covered in siding. And then to open the wall and discover this amazing construction within, that was what set me on the path of research to find out everything I could about the house and its occupants. So let's talk about the first one I encountered. The prankster. The very day we moved in, it started. We still had one more load of odds and ends left at the old house to pick up, but I was utterly spent. My husband said he'd go get it while I started to unpack some of the things in the living room. I said good deal, and he was gone. I was left completely alone in the house, as it was just me and my husband. No one else lived with us, or was helping us move, or was visiting us. I breezed through the first couple of boxes and put things where they belonged. Then I came to the box of dried and fake floral stuff. I really had no use for it, so I started placing it on the U-shaped mantel. The fireplace itself was quite large and stood 14 feet, and was built out into the living room, not flush with the wall. It had a very thick, very deep, 3-sided wraparound mantel. There was an ugly dried flower arrangement in the basket. I knew I'd never use it, so I placed it on the far right-hand corner of the U-shape, so literally up in the corner. I remember that at that point, one of my little dogs indicated she needed to go outside to use the restroom. I took all 4 chihuahuas out. When we came back in, I went straight to the treat jar. 3 dogs were facing away from the living room when I handed them their treats, and then I laid down to eat it. One dog was facing the living room and began barking as if someone unknown to them had just walked in the house. But the front door was closed. She stood stiff as a board, facing the living room, crazily barking. I told her to stop, which she always did upon command, but she kept barking, a warning type bark. I walked around the perimeter of the house. I checked the inside of the house. All the time she was barking her head off. I was completely freaked out, but I couldn't find anything. I finally told her to knock it off or I'd put her in her bed. She stopped but continued to growl. I could feel the hair on my neck stand on end. The electrical charge in the room was palpable. I left the room, and I went to the master bedroom to go to the bathroom. I washed my face while I was in there. I told myself it was nothing, and tried to shake it off. I headed back down to do more unpacking. And when I came back, that ugly flower arrangement was sitting dead center in the middle of the living room. If you like this story and you want to hear more, go ahead and leave a like. If you have a story that you want to share, make sure you send it in to the address in the comments below.